So the Dow Jones lost 0.11,411.69. Nasdaq lost 0.14%, closed at 13,300, while the S&P 500 closed at 4,391.69, a loss of 0.02%. And the markets are waiting a heavy week for earnings and economic data, beginning with a stronger than expected report from Bank of America, and another deteriorating and another sentiment amid affordability challenges. Meanwhile, the hot inflation environment and elevated expectations of an aggressive Fed remains sources of uncertainty, along with the ongoing war in Ukraine and ultimate global economic impact of lockdowns in China. Treasuries were mixed after a recent slide that has seen a rise in yields, and the US dollar is tacking on to gains seen of late. Crude oil prices were higher, and gold is also adding to a recent run. US Treasury yields reached 3-year highs today, the 18th of April 2022, as investors adjusted for the Federal Reserve to aggressively raise rates as it tries to stem soaring inflation that is running at its fastest pace in 40 years. Data last week showed that the consumer price index jumped 1.2% last month, the biggest monthly gain since September 2005. In the 12 months through March, the CPI accelerated 8.5%, the largest year-on-year gain since December 1981. The Fed is expected to hike rates by 50 basis points at its May and June meetings. At least. Fed fund futures traders are expecting the Fed's benchmark rate to rise to 1.27% in June and to 2.65% in February from 0.33% now. Housing data will be in focus this week for signs on whether a rapid jump in mortgage interest rates is beginning to dent demand, with houses already having become less affordable due to soaring prices. The financial sector remains in focus as well as the sector kicks off Q1 earnings season. Investment banking results were sluggish amid the cooled off IPO and M&A activity, while some of the uncertainty regarding the macroeconomic backdrop fostered some increases in loan loss reserves, which are taken as an expense and weigh on bottom line performance. However, trading revenues have held up amid the volatility to help provide an offset, and we have seen loan growth continue. For Q1, FactSet is estimating year-on-year earnings growth of 5.1%, which could mark the lowest pace of growth since Q4 2020. Although still early, of the 37 S&P 500 companies that have reported thus far, roughly 57% have topped sales expectations, and about 81% have bested profit projections, per data compiled by Bloomberg. So, and as it concerns Twitter, Twitter is trying to thwart billionaire Elon Musk's takeover attempts with a poison pill, a financial device that companies have been wielding against unwelcome suitors for decades. So what are poison pills supposed to do? Okay, we have what are poison pills supposed to do? The ingredients of which poison pill vary, the ingredients of each poison pill varies, but they're all designed to give corporate boards an option to flood the market with so many newly created stock that a takeover becomes prohibitively expensive. The strategy was popularized back in the 1980s when publicly held companies were being stalked by corporate raiders such as Carl Icahn, now more frequently described as activist investors. And further in this post market, so after announcing its board had approved a poison pill last Friday, while the stock market was closed, Twitter on Monday, today the 18th of April 2022, provided more details in a regulatory filing that no doubt it's trying to fend off Musk's $43 billion takeover bid, even though the document didn't mention its antagonist by name. Okay, so let's see whether we are going to change. Okay, I think it's still working. Okay, we'll leave it that way. So Twitter's plan works by imposing a significant penalty on any investor that builds up a stake of at least 15% in a San Francisco company without the board's approval. The San Francisco company's plan will be triggered if a shareholder accumulates a stake of 15% or more. Musk, best known as CEO of electric car company Tesla, currently holds a roughly 9% stake, but has raised the possibility of buying more stock. If Musk were to hit the 15% threshold, the Twitter board can then grant shareholders as of April 25th the right to buy 1,000 of a share of preferred stock for each common share they own at a price of $210. That option make it virtually impossible for anyone to buy Twitter, including Musk, the world's richest person with an estimated fortune of $270 billion. So elsewhere in other jurisdictions, this entitlement that they will grant shareholders, the current shareholders as of the 25th of April, may also lead to give the shareholders an opportunity to even sell on their rights. I don't exactly know whether that will be possible in the case of Twitter, but I know the options to buy right issues and right options usually can lead to or in some jurisdictions can provide investors the opportunity to sell their rights. So that's a side. So can a poison pill be a negotiating ploy? Although they are supposed to help prevent an unsolicited takeover, poison pills also often open the door to further negotiations that can force a bidder to sweeten the deal. If a higher price makes sense to the board, a poison pill can simply be cast aside along with the acrimony it provoked, clearing the way for a sale to be completed. True to form, Twitter left its door open to emphasizing that its poison pill would prevent its board from engaging with parties or accepting an acquisition proposal at a higher price. Adopting a poison pill also frequently results in lawsuits alleging that a corporate board and management team is using the tactic to keep their jobs against the best interest of shareholders. These complaints are sometimes filed by shareholders who think a takeover offer is fair and want to cash out at that price, or by the bidder vying to make the purchase. So how did Elon Musk react to Twitter's announcement? So Elon Musk, a prolific tweeter with 82 million followers on Twitter, hasn't said anything as of today so far. He hasn't said anything about this poison pill, but he posted cryptic tweet on Saturday on Saturday, hinting he may take his current bid of $54.2 per share directly to Twitter shareholders in what is known as a tender offer. Love me tender, Musk tweeted in with musical notes surrounding the words that Elvis Presley made popular in 1956 in a 1956 hit song. So in another tweet last week, Musk also signaled he was prepared to fight, and he said, if the current Twitter board takes action contrary to shareholder interests, they will be breaching their fiduciary duty. Musk tweeted. The liability they would thereby assume will be titanic in scale. So Musk has publicly said that his current bid is the best and final offer for Twitter, but other corporate suitors have made similar attempts before, ultimately up on the ante. Given his immense wealth, Musk will seem to have a deep enough pockets to raise his offer, although he's still working out how to finance the proposed purchase. Okay, so what else can Elon Musk do to take over to Twitter? He could partner with private equity firms. Another option could be that Musk gathers head of all large investors in a few US media companies to take Twitter private. Possible partners could be companies perceived as having biases towards either side of the political aisle in the United States, such as Fox, Sinclair, Google, Warner Bros., Discovery, the New York Times, Barry Diller, chair and senior executive of IAC, and others. So media companies may want to show their support for free speech with the possibility of generating return on it in the future for the entire note. Okay, so how has okay, it should be better now. So let's look at MULN. So MULN Automotive lost 14.81%. It's been on a relentless decline for a couple of sessions now. So it's up 1.09% in this post-market session. There's a disclosure there. Let's see what that disclosure is. Okay, they're selling more stock. That's I think what that disclosure is about. They're selling more stock. Stock has been on a decline for some time now, relentlessly declining. The bare thesis about it is has left the stock in a downward spiral. You can see that it's been spiraling since it's been spiraling for some time now. Since April, it's been on since the last couple of weeks now. So last couple of sessions, it's been on the downward trend. Okay, so let's look at CEI. CEI gained 20.69%, but it is down 0.95% in this post-market session. There isn't any news. Okay, so 140 million shares crossed the tape. We have a position in CEI as well, and some of the biggest gainers are the 22nd of April 350 calls and the $3 calls of the same series. They all gained 100%. So let's look at CASA. CASA Systems, it gained 82.52%, down 6.34%. And the news is that CASA System sells 9.9% stake to Verizon for $40 million and awarded multi-year contract by Verizon as well. Okay, CASA has been awarded the multi-year purchase contract from Verizon. Under the terms of the commercial deal, CASA will provide its 5G core network functions to Verizon's public mobile edge compute service offering. Okay, so it's optionable as well. And I think we noted that the 750 calls, you can see that the last time we had a video concerning the stock, but we didn't notice how much it had gained there. Yeah, and before then yes, it's then I think it had the option, the volume was about 11,000, so it ended up 18. It added another 7,000, so that to 750 calls has gained 1,050%. So it's just an indication that buyers are pricing in a move to that level, and they're also looking at the $10 calls. Our target for CASA is $8.9. So we've already looked at Twitter, so we're not going to look at it again. So let's see what happened to ATER. Ethereum, it's gained 18.44% and down 1.07% in this post-market session. A couple of news items there. It appoints a new COO, Chief Operating Officer. So on the options side, what do we have? I think the biggest gainer will be the $2 calls. What is it? Yeah, the $2 calls, it gained 127%, 127.70%. To 4.81 million shares across the tape. Okay, let's look at ENSV. ENSV Corp. It's gained 38.02%, down 4.96% now. And is there any news concerning ENSV Corp? Okay, so ENSV Corp delays filing of Form 10K to restate 2021 Form 10Qs. Okay, it's optional as well. The biggest gainer is the 250 calls, gained at 121.15%, and also the $5 calls also gained 100%, indicating that buyers are also looking at that as well, looking at that price as well. So 16.440 million shares across the tape. So just before we round up, let's see MULN. It's up 1.09%, but down 14.81%. And CEI is down 1.9%, gained 20.69% in this session that just ended. CASA gained 82.52%, but has just cooled off by 6.34%. Twitter, the target of a lot of investors, yes, Twitter, sorry, Elon Musk and other investors, they are planning their bids to see if they can take over Twitter. So it gained 7.48%. Now still gaining, has added 0.43% further thereafter. ATER. ATER is down 1.53%, but it gained 18.44%. ENSV is let's see what's going to yield. ENSV